Hello, and welcome to the Alchemist Show.
This is a student-produced radio show by the digital media class at the Perryville Area Career and Technology Center.
On mic is me, Lucas.
And Hannah.
And Nathan.
And today we have a topic for you on Is Horror Still Horror?
And it's not.
So, when people think horror, most people today would probably think, oh no, something just jumps out them and scares them, what people call today a jump scare. But horror wasn't always like this. Originally, it was gripping and terrifying. It was more psychological terror than physical terror. Now, these days, a lot of highly esteemed horror films are just jokes. And most of them just boil down to simple jump scares and loud noises. So Hannah, what do you have to say about this?
I hate it so much. Every time I go to the theater to see a horror movie that's supposed to be really scary, I just get a huge jump scare, and I don't feel scared at all. It's just like a startle, and it's really annoying.
There's a huge difference between being scared and startled.
Yeah.
So, and there are two things that people usually look to in horror, that being movies and games. One of those type of games I would have to say that actually portrays horror really well was the playable trailer a year or so back for Silent Hill. That game was, however, just a continuous loop of the same area, but it changed every time, slowly building a greater sense of terror. This really gripped people, and still today, it's stated that it's one of the scariest things. Mostly, though, everything has just boiled down to, in both movies and games, it's just jump scares. Some elements should be implemented subtly. For an example, jump scares shouldn't just pop out at you. They should be something subtle, like in the Poltergeist, that chair stacking scene that happened. It was subtle, and most people didn't see it coming. So what's your thoughts on it?
Well, I saw that game too because, I saw it was, really creepy. If you walk into a room and then you walk into another room, it's exactly the same, but just a little bit different. I mean, it's creepiness. It builds tension. It builds up to it, whereas jump scare, it comes at you, and then it's gone.
And then the feeling is just gone.
Yeah.
One thing I hate about horror movies is, there's no original ones anymore. It's always the same, demonic possession, zombies, the unkillable killer, creepy children, and stuff like that, and it's all the same.
Think of something original!
Yeah, look at movies like The Shining, The Conjuring, The Babadook, Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street. Those are really good films back in the day. Even today they are. And they were gripping and terrifying. And there were movies that were just laughable, like The Visit, Insidious, and Paranormal Activity. And most of them are just cliched and everything, and you can figure out what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I cringed at when I watched The Visit. It was terrible. It was not even a horror. It was, no.
A movie like The Conjuring was especially scary considering the factor that the majority of it is based on actual events that happened. So when something like that happens, you know that it's going to be a lot more creepier than just saying something like, this tape was found in the woods somewhere in the middle of nowhere. For an example, there's the Blair Witch Project. It's still a creepy movie, but in the end, if you watch it today, it's just a laughable joke and will give you motion sickness like no tomorrow. So do you guys have anything more to say on that?
Well, you can't say it's just a movie whenever it's based off of a true story.
Well, that's true. Well, I think that might be all that we have for this topic today. And, well, the Alchemist Show will be right back after this quick message.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. And you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio pre-diabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hi, the Alchemist Show is back with another discussion topic. This time it is on Spider-Man.
That's right.
On mic this time, it's yours truly, Seth Martin, along with...
Me, Riley Bradley.
Alright, so starring the world's most iconic superhero, Spider-Man, PS4 features the acrobatic abilities, improvisation, and web-slinging that the wall crawler is famous for, while also introducing elements never before seen in a Spider-Man game. From transversing with parkour and utilizing the environment, to new combat and blockbuster set pieces, it's Spider-Man unlike any you've played before.
Yep, that's right. Marvel and Insomniac Games have teamed up to create a brand new and authentic Spider-Man story. This isn't the Spider-Man you've met before or seen in a movie. This is an experienced Peter Parker who's more masterful at fighting big crime in New York City. At the same time, he's struggling to balance his chaotic personal life and career while the fate of 9 million New Yorkers rests upon his shoulders.
Alright, well, what are your thoughts on this game?
I think it's got potential to be a great Spider-Man game. We've had some in the past, like Spider-Man 2, which brought in the whole ground level stuff. And, of course, the Web of Shadows, the PS3 games, brought a whole bunch of new perspectives for Spider-Man, so...
Anytime that they make a Spider-Man game, I love the combat that they put in it, especially whenever it comes to Edge of Time, Web of Shadows, or even Shattered Dimensions. It's like one of my favorite, to play.
I know. My favorite being Web of Shadows. I like how they implemented the black suit as a main combat. You can switch between them on the fly, so...
Now, I kind of wonder what the story is going to be on Spider-Man PS4. Obviously, it's only for PS4 as of right now. Their release date is going to be December 26th of this year, 2017. So I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, me too. If it is going to have a story, it's going to have a big villain in it, possibly. Could we finally get to see the Sinister Six in the game?
I really hope that they put the Sinister Six. It's like they've been teasing it from the very beginning, starting with, Green Goblin and all that.
Yeah, if Green Goblin's on the game, it's kind of hard to make this Spider-Man game.
That is true. Any other thoughts that you could possibly think of this game?
From what I saw, like if you go see the trailer on YouTube, it looks amazing. The graphics look great, and the little details of the story make it look great. It reminds me a lot of Spider-Man 2.
Graphics do mean a lot when it comes to games. Otherwise, who would buy the game and, play it? I can personally say that PS4 Spider-Man 1 should be very good, something that maybe they haven't done before. Maybe a little setback to somewhat like The Amazing Spider-Man.
And I didn't really care much for The Amazing Spider-Man, unless you're talking about the comics, then yes. If they're going to fix anything, I hope they give us a new wall crawl.
Now, how would that... What do you mean by that?
fix the camera angles because that was
Oh,
always a
yeah.
pain.
I can understand that. Yeah, it was difficult moving around. They always end up changing it every Spider-Man game that they make, and it just doesn't make any sense why they would do that.
It's like going through a dog yard. You get a little further in every time.
Now, I will say, when they first came out with the first Spider-Man game, just called Spider-Man, I will say it was kind of upsetting that we couldn't go down to the ground, kind of like on Spider-Man 2 and throughout the game.
Yeah.
You were only able to go in warehouses and also like on top of buildings, beat up bad guys. That's about it.
I think the only thing good about wall crawling, I want to go back to wall crawling for that game, the first game, was the roof wall crawling was actually really good.
Yeah.
Because it actually gave you saw where you were and you got to see the bad guys below you. So.
All right. Well, I think that's all we have for today on this topic. The Alchemist Show will be right back after this important message.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, I had one thing on my mind. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball every chance I could. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn the signs of a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. I'm Paul George. Protect the ones you love. Spot a stroke F-A-S-T. Fast. Life is why. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org.
Hi, this is the Alchemist Show is back with another discussion topic. This time on the mic is Anessa Robinson.
Anthony Kirby.
Today we're talking about the dog's purpose. For the people who don't know what it's about a devoted dog that goes through 50 years of life and that comes through multiple reincarnations. He develops a unbreakable bond with a boy named Ethan, and when the boy comes through crossroads, the dog comes back into his life and reminds him of his true self.
There are some consequences theories about this movie. At the first glance, the movie may seem as a feel-good movie about healing the pets, yet people say that that there was mistreating into the movie through the movie. The dog that was in the movie were not harmed. In some scenes, the dogs were harmed. The dog named Hercule showed fear.
One of the actors summed up in an interview that no dogs were abused or anything, because the American Humane Association would demand to stop it if something would have happened. So every dog was taken care of and was happy on the set. So no animal was abused.
All the dogs were happy and taken care of.
Yeah. That's what one of the things one of the actors was mentioning in an interview. Anything else you want to put on it?
No.
Okay. I think that's all we have for today. The Alchemist Show will be right back after this important message.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I feel like if I didn't have anyone to push me, I wouldn't even bother to do it. I got one milestone down the drain, and now I got to work on the next. I see the future is really bright for me. I feel like it doesn't matter the age, as long as you go back and get it done. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
No one gets a diploma alone. You have more support than you realize. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, the Alchemist Show is back on another discussion topic. This time it's on college. On mic, this time is Caitlin, Michaela,
and Lily.
And today we're going to discuss free college. Free college, we think college should be free because it'd be nice and we wouldn't have to worry about debt and we wouldn't have to worry about we don't have to worry about a bunch of things that our parents did. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, I don't think it will be I don't think free college will actually ever happen, but we can hope that at least the prices go down because, students are going to college and they have to pay so much money just to get an education and to get a good job. And while you're going to college, you don't really have a good job because you can't get a good job without what you're getting in college, and it's kind of messed up. So that really needs to be fixed because that's not fair because you're going to be in a lot of debt and you can't pay it off because you're broke because you don't have an actual job yet. So I think that really needs to be fixed because I don't know, that could help because I don't really think college will ever actually go free, which it kind of should be, but I don't think it will. What do you think? I completely agree, and a lot of people say that spending a bunch of time and money on college is one of their biggest regrets, and a lot of people end up not liking a college or completely changing what they want to do. So I think the money and time is a huge waste.
I think that the state universities should be free. You can have your public your private colleges, you can pay tuition. We have public high school and middle school, and then we have private high school and middle school and elementary, and they people say that the private ones will get less people in because they all want to go to the free ones, but it's just the public other the high school and lower, we still have private ones, and people think that the private schools are better, but I think they're about the same.
Private schools are different because they're more expensive and they're smaller. They have less people and the classrooms are less, and they have less majors than a public one would have. They have a lower variety of majors. So if you go to a private one, you have to go to something that you would really specify in. If you're gonna go to a private school, do one that if you're gonna do I don't know, something on. Yeah. And since they're only really funded by your tuition and private companies that donate, so it's a lot more expensive unless maybe you have a scholarship. But yeah, public schools, public colleges have they're definitely a lot less expensive, and And it's like, if you live in the state that you go to college in, it's cheaper too. Like public schools will, like, if you are out of state and you apply there, then you have to probably pay more. So there's a lot more changes between those two. And yeah, what do you think?
I think that like the reason that you have to pay like the state college stuff is because the people that live there pay taxes and like live there and like helped out with the community. And like if you move from like New York to California, you haven't helped in any way for California. So like you didn't pay their taxes, you didn't like help out in the community, you didn't do anything. So I think that's why like the other ones are more expensive than the private one. Like the private
Yeah, I agree with that.
To go back to something Michaela said earlier, you go to college to get a job, but you can't get through college without a job. However, if you have a job, your education suffers. And you can't get a job without experience, but you need a job to get experience. So I'm not even in full agreement with a college degree being necessary for a good job. It doesn't guarantee like you being a good person or getting a great entrance into the workforce after graduation. It really just depends on what you personally want to do. And of course, not having a college degree is going to close some doors, but it depends on you. And like I said, so much time and effort and money goes into picking the right college, but a lot of students end up dropping out, and that's why some 400,000 students drop out of college each year, and why 1/3 of students now transfer at least once before earning a degree. What do you guys think?
I think, like, I get why degrees need to happen, but I feel like for more, like, I get why, like, you need a degree to be a doctor because you're obviously saving people's lives, but I feel like other maybe, like, and you need to know business and stuff, but I don't think you actually need, like, a degree to just get, like, maybe a small business job or something like that. There's just too much time and money going into that, and you're not even guaranteed to get an actual good job with that. So it's like, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's like kind of silly that we have to have degrees for just like a lot of things. Like my mom didn't graduate college, and she went to college for 2 years and then dropped out because she got expensive. Like she had a scholarship too. Like she like won like this big scholarship and got to go for free, and her books were paid for. And then like the scholarship ended, and she realized, she's like, oh wow, and she was paying off her like the second year, like for like 5 years after that. And like I don't think like she didn't even go to like a huge like expensive college. I think she went to one near St. Louis. And yeah, and like I think it's like she's working now. She like has a full-time job. She only has 2 years, and she's like making a lot of money. And like my stepdad didn't graduate college, and he's making like almost 3-figure numbers. And like my dad did. He graduated college, and he's a nurse, an EMT, a firefighter, like everything. He has a bunch of jobs, and he like graduated college, and he's still paying off debts. And yeah, like my aunt went to college for 6 years, and she was gonna become, or she went to college for 4 years, and she's still paying off the debts today. And that was like back in the early 2000s.
That's crazy. It should not be like that. Okay. I think that is all we have for this topic today. The Alchemist Show will be right back after this important message.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1,000,000. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cool time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
So, you know what's sad? The standard American diet. It literally is an abbreviation of SAD. It's a typical diet of a majority of Americans. This SAD diet is high in meat, dairy, fat, sugars, processed, refined, and junk foods, and low in fruits and vegetables.
A 2010 report from the U.S. Centers of Disease Control showed that overall only one state improved on vegetable and fruit consumption compared to 10 years earlier.
I mean, can you believe that? In just 10 years, we have gone down pretty much.
Yeah.
It's mostly because of like huge fast food chains like McDonald's, just because it's convenient. But convenient doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing for you. A study in 2005 from the U.S. Department of Agriculture showed that only 1/4 of Americans eat at least one serving of fruit a day, while only 1 in 10 eat the recommended minimal amount of vegetables.
Americans eat so few foods rich in antioxidants that beer represents the 5th largest source of antioxidants in the standard American diet. Beer. Why?
I know.
How?
I mean, alcohol being the 5th highest, that's just crazy. Now, a lot of people have been thinking, well, what if we switch to a plant-based diet? Could that help? Well, it actually can help prevent and even reverse some of the top killing diseases in the Western world, and can actually be more effective than medication or surgery. So what's your thoughts on that, Nathan?
That sounds good.
Well, even after years of eating the standard American diet, it is actually possible to reduce chronic disease risk by eating healthier, by doing these simple steps like eating more greens and vegetables and everything.
38% of adults in the U.S. report consuming fruits less than 1 time daily, and less than 22% report eating vegetables daily.
But having all this information, the real question is, what should the standard American diet be? Adults should not consume, all the 2,000 calories that they usually consume. These 2,000 calories that they do should actually have, at least 2 cups of fruit, 2.5 cups of vegetables, and maybe 6 ounces of grains. But instead, there's, the majority of it is processed fats and oils and sodium. And a study actually showed that contrary to what most people would think about Americans eating tons of meat, they actually eat, the majority of Americans eat more than what we should eat. On a graph, it actually shows exactly what this shows, like what I'm saying. On one side that shows the what people mostly eat, the highest bars are sodium, processed fats, and oils, and the lowest bar is actually meat. So that's very surprising.
Yeah, and your sodium intake shouldn't even be more than 2,300 milligrams a day. Like, a lot of people, they go way over that with like chips and like salted foods. It's crazy.
Yeah, and to date, from 2009 to 2010, indicates that over 78 million U.S. adults are obese. So the recommendation for minutes of physical activity for adults is about 30 minutes daily or 2.5 hours a week. And while the U.S., knowing all these facts, it's not truly surprising that we are the 12th most obese country in the world. Heck, U.S. even got a nickname of the fattest country in the world. Because if you look, the majority of Americans are obese.
I just have one thing to say.
And what's that?
Cut down on the ketchup packets, kids.
Well, that seems to be all we have to discuss on this topic. So, the Alchemist Show will be right back after these messages.
Today we decided to walk to school. At the corner, we waited to cross the street. The stoplight counted down. 15, 14, 31, 13. We took a left on Carroll Garden Street.
Garden Street?
Loud music was coming from a car. Danny's a smart kid, but he gets so distracted.
There were so many other sounds. I didn't know what to focus on.
Danny, Earth to Danny. Suddenly, he realized he forgot his homework again.
I left my homework on the table.
At the school steps, we hugged goodbye. I really hope he doesn't have another bad day at school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free online resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Get personalized recommendations, practical tips, daily access to experts, and more. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Hi, the Alchemist Show is back with another discussion topic. This time we're on discussion topic on the new Avengers game that's been announced.
That's right. On mic this time, once again, Seth Martin.
And I'm Riley Bradley.
Anyways, what's coming up is the Avengers game. They just announced it, so how exciting is that?
It's very exciting, actually. It's made by Square Enix. They're the same guys who make Kingdom Hearts and the Final Fantasy games, so...
All right, so what are your thoughts on the game, or what you want in the game?
I want them to do Hulk right. I want smashing, not talking.
I don't know. I like that scene in the movie where Captain America goes Hulk, just looks at him, and then says smash.
Yeah, that's all they say for.
I would love for that one scene just to be put in there.
That'd be cool. But of course, we need good flight controls probably for Tony.
Oh yeah. It would be nice to see the Hulkbuster. I mean, even though that may be in like the second movie, it could be put in the first game, you know.
This Avengers game has nothing to do with the movies, I don't think. I think it's just an Avengers game.
Just an Avengers game?
I don't know. They didn't say. Like, barely any details are out, but we know it's an Avengers game. And we know it's going to have Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America.
The main Avengers.
The main Avengers.
I personally would like to see how their story ties up, like from the beginning, middle, and end. I wonder how they're going to make it into, a worthy game.
I agree with the story that you said. You just said, gameplay-wise, I hope they have a lot of team-up, moves considering they're a team, and you expect something like that. And I expect each character to rely on another character for like health,
Now, here's the real question: are they going to, what you had said previously? Yes. Are they going to kind of tie, like how the movies did, or like is it going to be like the movies or not? Or
all I know is that Marvel wants to be Game of the Year, so if they're gonna go with the Game of the Year, they'll probably go with the Avengers story from the movie. I'm wondering, since they teased Iron Man and all of them, the main Avengers, are we gonna get Hawkeye and Black Widow anyway still?
Maybe. I'm not too sure on that. I mean, as you said, they haven't really announced anything. It's just been announced of the game, a little teaser trailer. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we do not have it, but we are here to talk about it.
It was great. It started off with a hint towards the Hulk in the facility, which I'm guessing what we're seeing there is actually hints of story that's going on. So it looks like Hulk broke into a military base, or broke out, one of the two.
That's the Hulk for you, man. He can't control it, and if he does,
He can.
He ain't. Well, I mean, he can, but like, whenever the Hulk's out, he's trying to control it as best as he can, even though he's always angry.
Yeah.
Just gotta learn how
Hulk
to
need anger management.
Now, if they don't go with the story, they better have some good
villains,
new storyline, new villains, or whatever.
Personal villains you would like to see appear in the game? I want Loki to come back. He was a great villain.
Loki is a very amazing villain. Now, out of all of the villains in the Avengers, or just from different, which is your favorite?
Like I said, Loki, either Loki, Red Skull, or Ultron.
I wouldn't go with Ultron. I mean, yeah, he's cool looking and everything, but then again, he didn't really do much. He didn't really do much in the movies.
You don't need power. What you need is brains.
Exactly. Unfortunately,
we're out of time.
Yeah, we're out of time. So thank you guys for listening. I think that's all we have for today on this topic. Mm-hmm. The Alchemist Show will be right back after this important message.
Bento in 2010 from a shelter.
This cat makes me make art. He's always motivating me to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. He's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Keyboard Cat, YouTube star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Start yours today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Hi, welcome back to the Alchemist Show, and we have another discussion for you. This time on the mic is Anessa Robinson.
And Anthony Kirby.
Today, we're having a talk about Beauty and the Beast. You want to say the topic or the plot for it?
Sure. Bella, a bright, beautiful, and independent young woman, is taken prisoner by the Beast in its castle. Despite her fear, she befriends the castle's enchant stuff and learns it to look beyond the Beast's external, allows her to reorganize the kind heart and soul of a true prince that hides on the inside.
The release date for this movie would be tomorrow, March 17th. And some of the actors would include Emma Watson and Dan Stevens. And the movie supposedly had some people an expletive scene in it that caused one of the actors to supposedly get fired, and the scene would probably not be good for viewers especially the younger ones, yet it got an Oscar.
Hope you enjoy getting to see it tomorrow.
Yeah, and some of the trailers I watched were pretty good. Do you have anything on that?
The trailers were a bit different from the very first movie. In the very first one in animation was 1991. That was 60 years ago.
26, actually.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add on this topic?
Well, the live action one in animation looks quite different to when they were. They kind of don't act like the ones from the movie sometimes.
Yeah, you're gonna have that a lot in between live action and animation. So
And now the real question we get: what would be the next live action Disney movie that would come out?
who knows? It could be like a popular one, or it could be something that we can't expect.
Well, there's been talk about that they would remake the.
Okay, I think that's all we have for this topic. The Alchemist Show will be right back after this important message.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, I had one thing on my mind. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball every chance I could. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn the signs of a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. I'm Paul George. Protect the ones you love. Spot a stroke, F-A-S-T, fast. Life is why. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hi, the Alchemist Show is back with another discussion topic. This time it's on millennials versus Generation Y, Generation X, and the baby boomers. On mic, this is Caitlin,
Michaela,
And Lily. And we're gonna start off with our millennials becoming more unsocial. Older people say that we're probably more social, like unsocial, because we're always on our phones, and we're just never like paying attention to like surrounding and stuff. But we act like we are, like we do know like what's happening around us, and there's something that we're being like unconnected. But we are always like talking to our friends on our phone, and we're always like talking to someone. We're always doing something, and we can talk to people from like Perryville, Missouri, and like they can be like living all the way in like, I don't know, like
Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee or like China or something. Like we can like talk to people way out there, and I guess we have more friends than they did back then because we have more of like a reach to people. Like we can like talk to them more, and like we don't have to like send like letters back and forth like back in the day, and we don't have to like wait forever to get a reply from them. We can just get it in like seconds. You guys have an opinion on that?
Yeah, we don't like talk as much as we probably should like face to face, but I mean, it's good to be able to connect in other ways too. Like, I don't think it's a super big problem that we're always on our cell phones, because we get stuff done, but we're also on this too. But we're not like, we're just talking to people. Like, that's a good thing. If I want to talk to my friend, I can just send him a message, and I think that's fine. Like, that's fun. It's like, I don't get why people are so upset about always being on your phone when you can talk to somebody you want to talk to.
We're also more educated too. Like, it sounds really mean, but like we're like more educated because we have like Google and Bing and like Wikipedia. Although Wikipedia is not the best thing to like research on. Like we have more like information coming in, and like we have more of an idea of like what's happening in the world than back then. Like we know like when wars are happening and when something really bad happens, and like I don't know, like we just have like more of a variety of like things to talk about, and like we have websites that we can discuss things with, and we have like social media where we can express ourselves and like make a name for ourselves. And yeah.
What do you think, Lily?
I think it's become a problem, but also like technology has expanded over time, and I think that we should be able to appreciate it and enjoy it without the generation before us complaining, because they all had like their fair share of like trends and new technology that was new and exciting in their day, so they should just let us enjoy it too.
I agree with that.
And they also like raised us, so like they can't really say anything like much about that because they like raised us. That's taught the us how thing. to like be, and like they gave us this technology, and like they made it.
And it's like they're always calling us lazy and stuff, and it's like, well, who raised me?
Right. Generation X complains about millennials, but they raised us. According to the generation before us, millennials spend too much time on their phones, they're overly sensitive, too lazy to find work, entitled, etc. But let's redefine what a millennial even is. The millennial generation includes anyone born in the early 80s all the way up to the mid-1990s or 2000s, smashing the accepted idea that our generation is just a group of whiny kids. The generation before us had their share of trends and technology that were new for them, so why can't they let us have ours? Technology has widely expanded over time, and it has many benefits. Okay, I want to go back to the thing where you're like, they're too lazy to get a job. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I have 2 jobs. I pay for my car, and I'm starting to help pay my mom for my phone. Okay. Like, I'm always doing something. I used to be in sports and have 2 jobs, but like that got really hard. And I mean, like, I'm not like the laziest person. Like, I do help around the house and everything, and like that makes me angry. Many people are like that. They have like several jobs and they pay for things themselves, and if they want something, they have to work for it.
I agree. And I hate that they call us whiny when it's like we aren't whiny all the time. Like, if we want something to change that needs to be changed, well, yeah, we're going to whine about it because it needs to be changed. Like, I don't know. We're not whiny or lazy. We have to work for ourselves too, just like everybody else did. It's not just handed to us like everybody thinks.
I mean, like, back in like their day, they had like a lot of things that were like handed to them, like right, they didn't given have, to them.
yeah, they didn't have to like worry about anything. And like
I think it's mostly like not our parents' generation, but it's like the older generation that's complaining more because they're like, oh, back in my day we didn't have TV. Back in my day, my entertainment was waiting for news from the war or news from something, and like, yeah.
And it's just like times have changed, and I know it's like, I guess I can see where people are upset about it too, but it's like times are changing, and I guess you just kind of have to like accept it. And I mean, even though things aren't always 100% great, I mean, I guess you just got to be okay with what you got and just try to keep going on with it.
Yeah, and like that generation raised like the next generation that raised us. I mean, it's kind of their fault for like not like
wow,
teaching their kids how to raise kids. All right.
I think that's good for today.
I think that's all we have for today's topic, and that's all for today's show. Join us next time on the Alchemist Show. Thanks for listening.
The Alchemist Show.